All right, now I'm going to give you an example of how easy it has become to fine-tune a language model on new specific tasks and data. I'm gonna put on some music if that's okay to get in the mood. All right, so start by setting up the environment here in Collab. For this experiment, we're going to leverage the project of fantastic community contributor Boris Daima called Hugging Tweets. As described, the goal is to train a language model to write new tweets based on your own unique voice in just 5 minutes. Here you can see that the environment has been set up correctly. So we'll pick a Twitter handle for the data set. Unfortunately, Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, doesn't have a Twitter account, so we'll use the generic NVIDIA account for this experiment. Now it's starting to download the NVIDIA tweets by scrapping Twitter. All right, here we got some of the tweets from the NVIDIA Twitter account, and it's created a data set only keeping 1,348 tweets from it. So now that we gathered the data set, we'll be able to start training the neural network. Keep in mind that we're not initializing weights from scratch, but leveraging an existing model, coming with its own weights and just fine-tuning them. Here we're using the great GPT-2 created by OpenAI. As the language model learned a lot from pre-training, 1,300 tweets are necessary. Also, that's why it's extremely fast and just takes a few minutes to train. That's the power of transfer learning that we were talking about earlier. For the compute, we have to thank Google, who's providing the free GPUs in Collab. Also, thanks to tools like weights and biases, you can follow how your loss is evolving, your learning rate, depending on the epochs. It's a really great tool to use. All right, let's wait for a minute or two for the model to finish training. All right, it's finished training, and now it's uploading the model to Hugging Face. So it's been fast. All right, the neural network has been successfully trained. Now, right away, you can go into the Hugging Face Model Hub, and you'll find the model right here. So keep in mind that the model is trained on the tweets from NVIDIA. So maybe what we can try it with is the future of tech is. All right, here, as you can see, the model hasn't been loaded yet. It might take a little bit of time for this to happen. We'll just wait and see if it gets loaded. All right, now the model has been loaded, and as you can see, it's starting generating. The future of tech is bright. That makes sense. That's very much on brand. Let's start something else, maybe. All right, the future of tech is changing a lot with tech giants such as Tesla and NVIDIA. Read more about these three major companies along with their plans for AI and deep learning on our blog. Really cool, and as you can see, the inference time is pretty low with just over a second on GPUs. Not only can you test the predictions here, but you can also take advantage of our API to integrate these predictions into your products in a matter of minutes. We'll run the inference and the predictions for you. If you prefer to host it yourself, you can just use these few lines here, changing the name of the model in Transformers to be able to run that in a matter of minutes too. In addition, you'll find on the model pages all the information you need to pick and understand the right model. So here you see like how does it work. You can see like the training data, the training procedure, and for example, useful things like intended uses and limitations. The beauty of the Hugging Face Model Hub is that not only can you use your own model, but you can also use any of the more than 3,000 models that have been pre-trained and shared by the community. You can obviously filter them by framework, PyTorch or TensorFlow, based on the tasks you're interested in: text classification, token classification, question answering, multiple choice, summarization, translation, conversational, and also by languages. Maybe I can show you another example of a task here with summarization. Using a model that has been uploaded by Facebook and trained on a dataset extracted from CNN. What it's doing is taking a Wikipedia page here of the Eiffel Tower and generating a summary of it. It's pretty cool because it's a very new task, and this model is state of the art on this task of summarization. Maybe let's take another task that is a bit simpler. For example, token classification. You can see here that this model is extracting entities and information from text here. It's detecting that Wolfgang is a person and that Berlin is a location. Also, as you can see, it's extremely fast on CPUs. I wanted to give you a couple more examples of things that are starting to work well. For example, zero shot topic classification, and maybe take a custom example here. Let's say you have incoming customer support emails and you want to classify based on their priority. What you have to do is just define these labels: priority high, priority low, and right away, even if the model hasn't seen these labels, it's going to be able to try to predict the classification. So like, for example, a customer is sending an email like that: it's very urgent, I need your help ASAP. Here is going to try to classify. As you can see, it detects that the priority of such a message is really high. It's really cool here that you can pick any topic, any label, any classification that you want, even if the model hasn't been trained on that. Another really cool advancement that we've seen over the past few months is the ability to do long form question answering, especially in open domain and when you need to pull up from different sources. So for example, here to question what's the best way to treat a sunburn, the model is taking from different articles from Wikipedia and generating an answer itself. And maybe we can try it with something else. For example, how do you make coffee? All right, and we'll see if it works or something like that. All right, you take a cup of coffee, grind them, put them on filter, then you heat up the beans, let them steep, the water is then filtered out. Process is called coffee roasting. Pretty accurate, and you can see again, it's picking up a couple of like different articles from Wikipedia. There are also links, right? You can go further. It's a great way to give explainabilities to your users. All right, that's pretty much it. Just to finish, obviously, all of it is powered by our open source that you can find on GitHub. Transformers, that is pretty well known today. That is the most popular open source NLP library with more than 34,000 GitHub stars, used by thousands of companies and more than 500 contributors. You'll also find on GitHub our other repositories, the two biggest ones being tokenizers for fast tokenization and datasets to find open datasets that you can use for free and metrics to assess your models. All right, that's pretty much it. Thanks, everyone.